Alrighty then guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lunaris and today guys we have another community created starter for you guys for Path of Exile 3.24 Necropolis League. I'm very excited about this league. It's gonna be a hybrid between a little bit of exile mapping and a little bit of crafting, and I think this build fits really well with what that means, because as far as I can tell from the reveal, it means that some of the monsters will carry itemized mods on themselves that we can use to craft. That means we need a build that is smooth, and therefore we've developed the Diviner. Yes guys, it's another Hierophant totem playstyle Divine Ire build in this case. Now what's different between this and the Purifier? Less CLUNK. As you could have seen in the intro video where we showcased the skill in various content during the SSF run, this skill develops a bit of a lightning field around the totems while it's channeling and building up towards that big beam gazong, right, that Kaddish. And basically that lightning field is what we need to kill the trash mobs, and the beams will be used to kill the rare enemies. In the last little showcase video, you could see a tier 5 map done on Solar Cell Found Gear. In that video I showed pretty much what gear I was using in that map, and as you can see, there is no gear, right? It's non-existent. You can watch that back, you can check that, but right now, let's dive into the PoE and go right into the heart of what this guide is, the leveling trees, and obviously the written guide. That's going to be very important whether you're a beginning player in Path of Exile, we got you covered, or a veteran just looking for some easy information to get this build going, we got you covered in PoE. Let's take a look guys. Alright guys, welcome to the PoE of this guide. Now the PoE consists of a couple of things. We have a tree with multiple leveling trees that are really easy to follow. Simply click this part and click these little sections to see where you go and where you go with your ascendancy. We also have a written guide. Now we've done this even more in depth than we did with the Purifier. We've made two separate guides. We have a guide for people that are somewhat experienced in the game and kinda already know how to level a Templar. So it's just a bit of loose information. But if you follow this guide and you're that experienced player and you're like, I feel like I may be missing something, simply go over to the in-depth step-by-step guide, and it's pretty much guaranteed you're gonna find what you're missing in that one. This in-depth guide is pretty much for players that are new to Path of Exile. I know this game can be quite daunting, a little bit intimidating when you first open it up, but guys, I'm gonna do my best to make it as easy as possible to have fun with this build, even for the newest of players. So that's why we made a bit of a two-phased guide, where phase 1 is phase that is for the experienced players, and the other one is step by step. We've also included quite a little bit of tips and tricks that are good for new players and experienced players alike. For experienced players, you're going to be looking at this, you're going to be like, I knew that, probably 90%, but still, it might be worth giving it a once over, because you never know, there might be something in there that's nice for you as well. We've also done something that we did not do in our Purifier guide, and people were kinda a little bit pissed off about that, and were kinda requesting for me to make a bit of an upgrade path for them, what things to buy early on, what the order of importance for upgrades is. So I definitely included an order of importance upgrade path in this one. It isn't complete, I'm still gonna be uploading more videos about this guide and about this build as it develops, so there's gonna be more videos guys, keep an eye on the YouTube channel, but this will give you at least a little bit of a shopping list, why it is that you want to buy those things, and where you go from there. We've also gone for crafting. Crafting is a really loose word, that's why it's between those little two brackets, because it's really not that difficult, right? We're using some Eldritch currency for the first two things, and the third one, you can pretty much buy a base with high regen, some decent resistance on there right off the market for a chaos or so. I've done this with a couple of people on Discord, completely built up their purifiers with them. It really is that simple, guys. There really isn't anything to this at all. In terms of weapons, I have a guide on the Discord channel how to craft even the +2 version of this weapon, but we have lost the Veiled Chaos Orbs. So there's going to be some changes to that. There will be a video coming on that as well, on how to craft that until we have Nebulous, because I believe with this skill that has an internal physical modifier that is converted to 50% lightning damage, right? Physical to lightning 50%, and the fact that we got 40% on the tree, 20% on the gloves, it lends itself perfectly to then convert that with the Call of the Brotherhoods to cold, and then obviously do some shenanigans with the Nebulous. Yes, that's a hell of a lot of damage, classic stacker eventually, but that's way down the line and you don't need it to get this build going. Now, a couple of people have already been messing around in PoB. I will include one of those end game PoBs in this video in the description as well. So if you're like, where's the gear? Where's my, end game version? There are definitely some options to go for, just like the Purifier. And this build really closely mimics the upgrade paths that you would do on the Purifier, save for a few small things, such as the fact that we're now going to be focusing more than likely on a Nebulous. Also has something to do with the flask reworks, something about that in later videos when I figure out how to do that properly and to go to that crazy god tier level of power. Not important for Leaguestarter. If you guys have anything that isn't clear in here, or you have suggestions or things you'd like to add to this, to the community, find us on Discord or leave a YouTube comment. Definitely nice if you guys do that. Helps the channel grow, but it also helps the community see these little things that might not necessarily be within this guide that might help them. Any information is always welcome, guys. Support each other just like we do on the Discord and we do with each other in game. So there really isn't too much to tell about this, except for one little trap that's with all these builds, and that is a jewel. A very specific jewel. It's the Militant Faith. I cannot count the times that people have bought a Militant Faith and they're like, this is the good one, right? And it wasn't. There was just one little tiny detail off on that jewel. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of a section in this video as well as to how to set up a trade link for the timeless jewel, the Militant Faith, what you search for. I'm going to put that trade link in the video description as well. And guys, if for some reason, very possible, 3.24 that trade link doesn't work anymore, sit tight, I will update that trade link and put it in the video description again, so it will most definitely work. All of this is pretty self-explanatory, right? I'm going to go right over these little early upgrades just a little bit for people, but the guide should pretty much be followable in just the information that's in here. In terms of the Call of the Brotherhoods, we're choosing for that not just for scaling, but you're pretty much converting everything to cold, and cold is going to, especially with that lightning field, make sure this build feels safe. It is going to be way more smooth than the Purifier. It's going to have similar, if not slightly higher damage than the Purifier, which is kind of surprising, right, with the damage the Purifier had. So the Call of the Brotherhood is going to give you a little bit of safety, just perma-freeze everything that gets hit, and it's pretty much instant. There won't be that clunk feeling. We have the Heat Shiver. Anything time you do something with cold and anytime you do something with chill and freeze, Heat Shiver is going to be nice. Even though it got quite hard hit with the big old nerve hammer, it is still something really nice to have early on. It's just going to give you that free DPS, that extra little bit of fire, very nice. The Militant Faith, like I said, a little bit of an extra section in this video on how to obtain that and why you go for that one. Replica Dagon's Fangs fight, level scaling, gem level scaling. Anytime you have a physical spell skill, guys, gem levels are going to be absolutely insane for your DPS, so that's a pretty much no-brainer to have early on. Tattoos, I'm not quite sure which ones there are. I do know that the ones that we would like to see, such as the Reservation Efficiency and the Herald Stacking ones, are gone. But I still think there's going to be some tattoos left and right that we can use for this build. Maybe something for AoE, but definitely something for resistances that we might need. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And like I said in follow-up videos, I will show versions with tattoos and all that kind of stuff in there. The next upgrade path will be a combination between Chevron's Wrappings and Prism Guardian, because I believe that those two are needed to transition into low life for Righteous Fire. If you go low life and you go with the good old Pain Attunement right here, and you do not have a Chevron and you get hit by something that's chaos, you are dead. Now I know what people are thinking, what, he's got the coruscating elixir. No. Just no, I wouldn't. Coruscating Elixir is really nice. It does work, some builds make use of it, but the idea that there are these Arch-Nemesis modifiers that just remove all your flask charges and you're gonna get pooped anyway, or you forget to click the flask at the beginning of your map, all these little things will get you smashed. Now, if you're a Coruscating Elixir expert and you're used to that and you're fine with that, that is obviously an option. It's just not one that I'm choosing for this guide. As for clusters, guys, that is down the line, right? It's not something you'll have day one, but once you start thinking about putting in Wrath and Hatred together with, let's say, Haste, yeah, you're already looking at 150% mana reservation on the 50% or so. You're going to need a hell of a lot of reservation efficiency, meaning the tree, obviously, that we're going to work on, but definitely also clusters, reservation efficiency clusters. A halfway decent Watcher's Eye would be the next one you go for. Now, we're using Wrath and Hatred eventually, both of that, and that means it's going to be easier than ever to get your crit where it needs to be. Because, yes, a crit Hatred Watcher's Eye is quite expensive, but usually a crit Wrath Watcher's Eye, which goes up to 120 or 150%, don't bind me to it, but yeah, that's a lot of percentages of crit, is going to be easier to obtain and a lot cheaper to get as well. So, because we use multiple auras, Watcher's Eyes is a bit of a mix and match. I'm gonna, in the updated videos on the stronger versions of this build that will emerge quite quickly, I will definitely get a little deeper into some of the combinations that you can go for that are more budget friendly than, let's say, a double Hatred Watcher's Eye, which is gonna be a kidney and a liver to obtain. Way down the line, I expect this build to go classic stacker route, and I do believe we're going to end up with a Nebulous and we're going to be ending up with an Aegis, and it's going to be something halfway near Immortal. But in the beginning, guys, this is not a tank build, right? I never usually make tank builds. It's going to be pure offense, speed, and just mobility and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I think in the end I can smell something coming with Aegis Nebulous that might be quite tanky indeed. So, like always, guys, if there's any information that you feel is not yet in this guide, like I said, put it in the YouTube channel in the comments or find us on Discord. If you need any help, same story, find us on Discord. I will League start one day later than the League start itself. So, if you want to find me live, I will be live one day after League start, and you can ask all your questions there live of me as well. I'm a nice guy. I will always try to answer and help if I can. So you can find me there, guys. And that's it for the PoE section of this guide, guys. Alrighty then, guys, welcome to our trade site. Let me show you guys how to set up the link for this duel quickly. The thing we want to have here is Dominus. Dominus is the one that's going to give you that inner conviction thing up top, that's going to give you the spell damage per power charge. And with us having the power charges that we have, we kind of stack them a little bit. You kind of want to go for Dominus and only Dominus. So this is one thing you definitely want to have. The other thing you want to have is the non-curse aura thing per 10 devotion. Hands down the best thing to have. But now we have a second modifier, and for that we have some choices to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to do count 1. And we're going to type 10 devotion. So either we want totem damage per 10 devotion, or we want elemental damage per 10 devotion. Now, I'm not quite sure whether area damage per 10 devotion will work. I think it might for the field, it may not for the beam, I'm not 100% sure. But just to be sure, this is the trade link you set up. Now, once you see a gem like this pop up, and there's going to be a million of those to... Hold on. There's probably going to be a million of those that will pop up. Once that happens, you don't just buy it. You're going to take that thing, you're going to copy it, and you're going to go right back into... Hold on a second. There it is. You're going to go right back into PoE and insert the jewel just like that. Now what we are looking for here is, like I said, inner conviction. Yes. But we also want to be 100% sure that the nodes we deem to be important aren't bricked or converted into something else. This one, you do not want bricked. Instability. This one, you do not want bricked. This one, you do not want bricked. So this one is bricked, right? I wouldn't use this one. And let me think here, more than likely you want these two open as well. The reason for that is we might eventually start doing some shenanigans with Herald stacking, and these nodes are incredibly powerful for that. So I would definitely advise to keep this one open, because if you remove your power charge, it kind of defeats the purpose of Inner Conviction in the first place. So this is the most important node not to brick. Don't break this one, you're going to be needing it for the mana. Very, very important. Don't break this one, cast speed is king in this build. Those three are the most important you don't brick. And I would say, if you can also get one that doesn't have these two bricked, awesome. Alrighty guys, if you made it until this point in the video, thank you very much for watching the entire thing. I know it's a 20-minute video, it is quite long, but there is quite a little bit of information in there and showcasing that could be nice for you if you are looking for a starter guide. Thank you very much for watching guys, and special thanks to a couple of people. Abuera for naming this build. Thank you very much, buddy. Turtle for a endgame version of this build in terms of a PoB, where he swapped out the Purifier setup towards the setup for Divine Ire with some success in there. I'll leave that PoB in the video description. Thanks again, Turtle. And obviously to Aburg too for giving this guide, especially the written portion, a once over to remove some of my typos and some other stuff and change some things around at Torberg. Good to have you back, buddy. Special thanks to the entire community during the SSF stream. You guys, your input was definitely valuable. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the help in the beginning of that run as well. Choosing the skills and all those things. Thanks, thanks, thanks guys. Let's have an amazing 3.24 Path of Exile Necropolis League. I will catch you live the day after start. Oh, it's on.